Welcome everyone, this is On Just Restart, and this time we'll be talking about new Pokemon Snap. I am so excited for this game. It is a dream come true. We've been waiting for a new Pokemon Snap for over 20 years. The original was a great success back on the Nintendo 64 when it came out in 1999, and we've been sort of scratching our heads for years as to why there hasn't been a sequel, but now we are finally getting that sequel. So for this video, we're going to be talking about different changes and enhancements we could see for this new version on the Nintendo Switch. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about my social media. There is a Twitter page, a Discord community, a Patreon page, and a Twitch channel. If you are interested in any of that, please check it all out. It is linked in the description below. Now, the most obvious change in Pokemon Snap is the graphics. Obviously, the visuals having greatly improved. I would even argue this is the best looking Pokemon game we've ever seen up to this point. It looks amazing. But with better graphics and better technology, there's even more that can be done. Back on the N64, there were a lot of limitations. There wasn't too much draw distance, there weren't very many Pokemon to be seen, and there wasn't that much to the environment. It was a very simplistic environment that you would traverse through. But with the new Pokemon Snap, all of that can be improved upon. No more will you see blurry Lapras all the way in the background. You can see the Lapras far more clearly, and perhaps they could even have other Pokemon much further away, and maybe they could even throw in a zoom feature for Pokemon that are even further away and you can see them far more clearly thanks to the far greater graphical powers of the Nintendo Switch. But there could also be areas where we could see a lot more Pokemon and it could look a lot more natural. Pokemon are going to be in their natural environment. That's one of the special things about Pokemon Snap. It makes it look like these Pokemon are real life living animals and you are documenting that. And to me, that's very exciting. In this new Pokemon Snap, I expect the environments to be far more advanced and for there to be a lot more to be seen or hidden actually. In the trailer, we can actually see a lot more foliage and there's actually some Pokemon being hidden behind that. There's a lot more opportunities to put Pokemon hidden in the environment, and thanks to all the advances in technology over the last 20 years, there's a lot more that can be shown and hidden in these new, larger, more detailed worlds in new Pokemon Snap. This time around, I think they're really going to be able to deliver and execute an experience that feels like we're trekking through the natural environment of these Pokemon, and I think that's going to be amazing. Now, another limitation back on the N64 was the amount of Pokemon that were there. There weren't very many. There were 63. This time around, there's probably going to be a lot more. Now, there's nearly 900 Pokemon now, and that doesn't even take into account additional forms such as Galar forms, or Alolan forms, or Mega Evolution, or Gigantamax. There is a lot more Pokemon out there, there's a lot of forms, there's a lot to be hidden and seen. I do not expect all of that to be in this new game, but I definitely expect there to be a few hundred Pokemon. There's going to be a lot more than the previous game, and perhaps as time progresses, maybe there could be some DLC where they add other areas and new Pokemon. Yes, I would love it for there to be every single Pokemon in the game, but I just don't think that's realistic. However, I do expect there to be more of a focus on the interactivity of these Pokemon. I'm anticipating that this time around, Bandai Namco is going to do a great job of presenting these Pokemon in a natural environment and having them interact with the world in a natural way. But also I think they're going to give us more ways to interact with the Pokemon than the original game. Perhaps as we progress the game, we can feed them more than just apples. Maybe we can give them different types of berries, as there have been a lot more new berries added to the Pokemon series over time. Maybe we could whistle at them or pet them, or a whole bunch of other things that could give us more options in terms of capturing different kinds of pictures for different kinds of Pokemon. But not only do I expect for there to be more Pokemon and more ways to interact with these Pokemon, but also more areas to find these Pokemon. Game development has gone far more ambitious as it was back in the 90s. Games are far, far larger. So this time around, I expect there's going to be more areas to explore in this game. And actually, if you look at the trailer, there are different paths that turn. There seems to be branching paths, and even we've seen the same ecosystems at different times of the day. So perhaps these ecosystems that are the same are actually the same area. So maybe we can revisit these areas at different times of the day and have different paths. So they could be reusing different levels, and though these levels will be so large, there'll be a lot more to explore from a different angle at a different time of the day. And these different times of the day and these different parts of the islands could yield different kinds of Pokemon, so there will be a lot more replayability with the different levels we already have. And if you didn't play the original Pokemon Snap, there was already a lot of reason to replay the different levels, because you would advance and progress and gain more abilities to find Pokemon in different ways. So we'd always revisit these levels and see if you could find another Pokemon that you didn't see before, or simply try to capture a picture of Pokemon in a different way to try and get a better score. And that's one of the things I really liked about Pokemon Snap. It was very arcade-like, where you would go for a high score. So on the note of scores, I'm definitely hoping that there's going to be some sort of leaderboards, because we're going to progress and try and get better scores when we play through all these levels. I'm expecting a great deal of replayability within all the levels of new Pokemon Snap. Which brings me to my next point. I do think there's going to be some form of multiplayer this time around. On the Switch, there is a great focus on multiplayer. Pretty much every Switch ad has two people playing co-op or multiplayer with the different Joy-Cons. This time, I don't think it'll be any different. I can already see it now. There are going to be new Pokemon Snap trailers or commercials that have people taking off the Joy-Cons, and each person's going to take an individual Joy-Con and play co-op Pokemon Snap together. Imagine it playing like House of the Dead or Time Splitters, those old light gun arcade games where you were on rails going through an environment, shooting together, aiming together. New Pokemon Snap is gonna be a shooter, except instead of using a gun, you are using a camera to shoot photos of different Pokemon. And I think they could easily implement co-op in that way, and I definitely expect for there to be local co-op, especially with the Joy-Cons, hopefully with Pro Controller support as well. And of course, I am also expecting online multiplayer. It may not happen, it kind of depends. With Nintendo and Pokemon games, they don't always have all the different multiplayer options we would like to see, but Bandai Namco is developing this, and most of the games have pretty decent multiplayer options, so I'm optimistic that we'll have pretty good multiplayer options with new Pokemon Snap. And that pretty much sums up everything I sort of expect to change and be improved upon with new Pokemon Snap. Better graphics, more Pokemon, more ways to interact with those Pokemon and hide those Pokemon in these larger environments with branching paths and different times of the day and different ways to replay the level and go about that, and having high scores and leaderboards and co-op and hopefully some form of online play, and maybe someday there will be some DLC added with new Pokemon. That's pretty much what I'm expecting with new Pokemon Snap. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I am super excited about it. I have been dreaming about this game for years, and it's finally happening. I'm excited. So hopefully you guys are also excited, and if you have any other ideas for how new Pokemon Snap can improve upon the original, let me know in the comments below. But that's all for now, everyone. This is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.